Okay, Rob TEBBUTT here from Behind the Gloves. I'm here with Eddie Hearn. Eddie, how you doing today, mate?
Very well, very well.
Good, good. You've clocked up some miles this week. Where you been?
I have last few weeks. Well, I was in Vegas last weekend, Monaco the weekend before, and this week I've just sort of been uptown here to North London, getting ready for the show tomorrow night.
You're looking very trim. Looks like you've been working with a personal trainer.
Oh, yeah, funny that, you just heard that. I wouldn't say trim, but I'm trying, but it's ruining me. It was a tough session this morning, that's why I'm sitting down whilst you're interviewing me.
Okay, yeah, you're not just being lazy.
No.
You are pretty busy. I do appreciate your time, Eddie. So we've got Big City Dreams this weekend, tomorrow night, Katie Taylor's debut. One thing that has struck me about the card is that you seem to be putting, it's like graduation time for your young fighters. Just talk about that.
Yeah, that's why I'm excited about the show. I mean, I've done a few interviews recently where I've talked about, I think, the need, one-sided fights are all about the progression of a fighter. Like, you're never going to see one-sided fights, because when you're progressing a fighter who's 2, 3, 4 and 0, like, you're not going to put them in a fight they could lose. It's just, that's life. When they get to 7, 8, 9 and 0, I'm looking to push them a little bit faster, and I'm not looking to put them in 50-50 fights, but fights they could lose if they're not as good as I believe they are. Because I'd rather find out now than invest another whole load of money. And I think the viewers respond to that as well, because they don't want to watch one-sided fights. So here you have a card where probably from 5 o'clock you have a lot of 60-40s, even some 70-30s in there. And you've got like Ben Hall, who's in like a 50-50 fight with Castle Jones. This is his 11th fight. O'Hara Davies is being slung in with a top 10 fighter in the world for the WBC silver title. But we believe in those fighters. If they're not good enough, they won't win. But then they can still come back. But maybe we know where we are with them, rather than trying to showcase those as a potential headline act on Sky Sports. So we're all up for developing fighters in the right way, but I do think we need to get the balance right to make sure that the fans are happy, the broadcasters are happy, and the fighters are happy as well.
Obviously, you've touched on it in some of your other interviews during the week. The deal that Frank Warren has signed with BT Sport, rather tongue-in-cheek, the biggest sport in boxing history. Has that had any sort of effect on you, or is it just sort of the time and it's just coincidence?
It's made us probably move to make a few bigger fights. I think it gives you a little spring in your step. It's also taken a little bit of load off my shoulders, because for 2 or 3 years I've been propping up British boxing, just giving fighters opportunities after opportunities, which probably I shouldn't have. But whether I was being too over generous, or maybe giving fighters too easy a fight, now there is an alternative for those fighters if they don't want to work for us. We want to work with the elite fighters and those that have the potential to be elite. That's it. So we want to progress fighters, give them all the opportunities to succeed, and if they're not good enough, now they have another option of where to go. Someone said, do you think some of your fighters will want to join Frank Warren? I said, maybe. I don't think so, but maybe. I said, but do you think Frank Warren's fighters want to join us in Sky? The answer is yes. But our relationship with them is much better than it used to be, and I have no problem. We're talking about Butler against McDonald at the moment. They made an offer for Flanagan against Campbell. All if the deal's right, I have no problem with our fighters accepting that. Of course, I want to build our biggest fighters on Sky, turn them into pay-per-view fighters. That's the model. But all in all, I think good for British boxing. I think gives everybody a little kick up the backside. He'll be under pressure to perform, because I know there'll be caveats in that deal that will mean if he doesn't deliver, he's out. So, yeah, he'll be trying really hard. I'll be trying really hard. Sky now have a bit of competition where I can go back and say, you better throw me some more money for these boys. Which before you couldn't do that, because what's the point? No, it's good. I think it's healthy for British boxing.
One of the recent announcements this week is Luis Ortiz is back in action on the Anthony Joshua undercard against Dave Allen. How did that fight come about?
Well, it's a keep busy fight for Luis Ortiz. So obviously he's just boxed in Monaco, disappointing 12 rounds, but is what it was. And 3 weeks later, 3 weeks later, he's out again. So do you bring over an international opponent that no one's ever heard of, or do you give young Dave Allen a chance, who is absolutely begging for the fight and has been for the last 4 weeks? The answer is you give Dave Allen a chance. He's done 10 rounds with Dillian White, he's got a great chin, he's going to be trying his nuts off in the fight rather than just coming to survive and get through it. So yeah, he's well out of his depth. but he knows what he's doing. He's very, very tough, and you know, you never know if he pulls off the upset. He's right in it, isn't he? You know, it's a life-changing opportunity.
Back to the card tomorrow night from Wembley Arena. Obviously, we've got Katie Taylor, who is, as you said earlier, arguably the best amateur boxer, man or woman, of all time. And she's so incredibly decorated. First female boxer that you've signed. What are your plans long term with Katie Taylor?
It's more what are my plans with Katie Taylor rather than what my plans in female boxing. Because I don't look at it necessarily just as female boxing. I look at it as boxing. I look at it as a product, a fight. And if it's entertaining, it will sell and people will want to watch it. With Katie, you've already got a fighter who has a massive profile, and she's a woman, so people are interested to watch. But there'll be a lot of people you've got to convert and a lot of people you've got to convince. But all I say is just tune in and watch. You know, we're going to box her here, we're going to box her in a Joshua card in a couple of weeks, we're going to box her in New York, we'll probably box her in the Far East, in Scandinavia, so we're going to give it a real go. And if it's entertaining in the short term, it's going to fly and move real quick, this, because she really impresses me. I like her a lot, and I'm really excited to be a part of their journey.
Some of the Irish media that I've spoken to this week are all talking about, you know, they're really looking for Katie to perhaps be a springboard for more live shows in Ireland. Yeah. Is that something that you're going to consider?
Well, I think she'll be taking those shows to Ireland in time. She's huge in the Irish market already, but we want to build her globally. Won't take advantage of the Irish market, but when we return, it'll probably be for a world title, and hopefully they'll be out in huge numbers.
One thing that's flown around this week, Katie Taylor versus Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, it's just a media thing.
It's like the Mayweather-McGregor thing.
Someone asked the question, she goes, "Yeah, I'd fight Ronda Rousey,"
and then suddenly that becomes,
fight Rousey. But I guess it's good for the comparison. And you know, Ronda Rousey was just like Katie Taylor once. She didn't have the profile of Katie Taylor when she started. But you know, UFC's a huge brand, but so are we, and so is Sky. And with our might behind her, if she performs, I think the sky's the limit for Katie Taylor, and maybe Taylor Rousey one day. You never know.
2 weeks out from Anthony Joshua versus Eric Molina. How have preparations been going for that with Big AJ?
It's difficult to start with because was it Klitschko, was it Pulev, was it Parker? So it took probably 6 weeks out before he knew who the guy was. It's been a long camp. All the distractions about fighting Klitschko after. So that's the main concerns. But he's been disciplined. He's got some good sparring. You know, I've spoken to Molina as well at length. He's game for this. You know, like,
yeah, he's up for it.
I'm not saying that, you know, he's a favourite in a fight or anywhere near. All I'm telling you is he can punch and he's game. So I think it'll be a really entertaining fight. And Joshua's just got to stay smart, get the win, and then we move on, hopefully, to the Klitschko fight in the spring. Yeah,
because obviously, I mean, Eric Molina's been in with WBC champ Deontay Wilder.
9 good rounds with him, beat Adamek. He's tough, you know, and he can punch. And he's not afraid to let his hands go.
Oh, that's good. Just back to, finally, for tomorrow's card, which fight is the one that you've got your eye on the most? Which one?
Probably, I mean, outside of Katie Taylor, probably O'Hara against Andrea Scarpa. You know, you've got a guy in O'Hara Davies that I think could be one of the top fighters in the country. But we're going to find out, and we're probably going to find out sooner than expected.
What's his 14th fight?
Yeah, if he demolishes Andrea Scarpa, he's the real deal. When? Sorry, O'Hara. Sorry, mate. You're lucky I didn't. You're lucky you interrupted me there. It was going to get a lot worse. And you know, but ultimately we're gonna find out, and that's the exciting thing, because people can talk. You know, I can give it the hype about O'Hara Davies. Tony Sims can. He will show us if the hype is real, and we believe it is. But we'll find out against Andrea Scarpa, and that's what's exciting as a promoter, that you get the chance to find out if these guys are the real deal.
Lastly, last question, because I know you've been a very busy man over the last couple of days. Ward versus Kovalev, very highly debated decision. I know you're out there in Las Vegas. How did you see the fight?
I thought Ward won it by a round. Very close fight. Couldn't have argued either way. Didn't see it as a robbery at all.
No.
But I've never known a fight with so many different opinions. Like 4 rounds to Kovalev, 3 rounds to Ward. You know, by people sitting in one chair next to each other. It's crazy. I don't think it was a great fight. It was a good fight. It was quite interesting with a knockdown. Ward is very clever, and he did well to come back, because after 3 rounds I thought no chance. I'm excited for the rematch. I think the rematch will be a good fight. I felt Kovalev threw it away. The last 6 rounds, I think the corner should have said, you've got to get on top of him. You know, you've hurt him already. Close the show.
I agree with you. Okay, Eddie, I'm going to leave you to it there, mate. Thanks very much for sitting down with me. This is Rob TEBBUTT for Behind the Gloves. Thanks, Eddie.
Cheers.
Hey fight fans, if you haven't already subscribed to our channel, make sure you go ahead and do so, because Behind the Gloves is worldwide with our coverage. All you have to do is click this little link right here.